Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Um, Today we're going to discuss some commonly asked questions about basic training. So what I did is I went ahead and went to Google and searched for most commonly asked questions, and it took me to this page. And I went ahead and opened up the questions that I believe to be the most potent, the more important ones, or the more interesting ones. So let's go ahead and get started here. Question number one, how long will my soldier be in basic training, basic combat training for all military occupation specialties in the Army lasts 10 weeks. Infantry and armor OSIT lasts for 14 to 16 weeks depending on your soldier's MOS. So, yeah, so if you're going into a job such as like an accountant or an engineer, you're going to have your 10 weeks of infantry or your 10 weeks of basic training, and then you're going to be moved to a different station to learn the core fundamentals, what your main job description duties. You're going to learn all that stuff during however many weeks it takes for whatever job you enlisted for. As far as infantry and tanker guys or 19 Delta Cab Scouts, us guys, we had to go on for, or at least for me, it was for a full-on 16 weeks, a full-on 4 months. And the difference between us OSEC guys and AIT guys is that the OSEC guys, we're getting just about the same treatment from the first month of basic training all the way to the last month. It's 4 months of basic training, 4 months of hardship of hard basic training. In AIT, I know that you get a lot more lax on your leash. You get more privileges, whereas us in combat arms, not so much. Maybe a few more privileges towards the end there, but maybe not. For example, in my situation, as a 19 Delta Cavalry Scout, I remember that there really wasn't that much of a difference between my first few months there from my last month there. There wasn't that much of a difference. Drill sergeants were still in your face. Drill sergeants were still pretty much assholes all the way through. Yeah, so just expect all your trainers to be the same faces, and you're gonna be in the same spot for 4 months. So be aware of that going in. Next question: what is OSIT? Infantry One Station Unit Training. That's OSIT, which combines basic combat training and advanced individual training (AIT) in one location. Soldiers stay with the same class throughout the infantry training. Unlike many other MOSs, soldiers do not have to move to another installation after BCT to complete AIT. They make it sound like a benefit. It's not. Like I said, like I already went over, it's all one thing where you stay in the same station, the same trainers, everything. Alright, next question. What the drill sergeant, will the drill sergeants hit my soldiers? I'm not even gonna read this because the answer is a solid no. They're not even allowed to touch you. No, you're not gonna get slapped. You're not gonna get choked. You're not gonna get punched in the face. They're not. It's just a solid no, guys. Don't stress that one. What is a typical day like in BCT or OSIT? BCT or infantry OSIT is very demanding and challenging. Soldiers are sometimes expected to respond quickly and give 100% effort at all times. Most soldiers quickly adapt to the new life. It is different, however, because everything is new and soldiers don't know what to expect. So yeah, I mean, there really isn't a typical day per se. Man, it varies from day to day. Depending on what month you're into, what phase of training you're in, what your drill sergeants have scheduled for that day. The closest thing to a typical day, let's see if I can come up with something here. Maybe let's see. A typical day would be like you waking up like early as hell, maybe like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, getting ready for PT, doing your PT, and then marching off to breakfast to the chow hall for breakfast. Then marching back to the barracks and getting ready for whatever training is gonna be happening that day. So it might be a day of full-on classes where you're just going to be, 6, 8 hours in a class learning whatever it is that's scheduled. Or it could be a day of combat training, like hand to hand, or you might be going to qualify with a rifle, or learning how to shoot a rifle. Like I said, and like there's no typical day in basic. It's gonna vary from day to day. So go in expecting that chaos. Alright, next question. How often are basic training soldiers allowed to call home? Phone call frequency varies by unit and is at the discretion of the drill sergeants. Generally, soldiers are allowed to make a quick call home when they first arrive at fort or whatever fort you're at. What they are out of When they are out of reception and assigned to a basic training unit on the first 72 hours, they usually get around 2 minutes to call their families to pass on a mailing address before he or she is told to hang up. As training progresses, soldiers can earn privileges and earn more phone call time. Calls will not be later than 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because that is lights out time for basic training soldiers. Outside of this time will be the drill sergeant's decision depending on the soldier's situation. So if I remember correctly, I do remember getting that first phone call home when I first got there to notify my parents that I got there safe and sound, no problems, everything was okay, and everything was going as scheduled. But other than that, man, I don't. Your phone calls are going to be few and far between. You're not going to get a whole lot of phone time. Even when you do get your phone turn, it's going to be short. It's going to be at most 2 minutes long. Man, I don't even remember when they allowed my first phone call to actually have time to call and have a chat with my parents. I don't remember it. Yeah, just go in knowing that your cell phone's going to be taken away and confiscated, and you won't see it again until after you graduate. And yeah, it's going to depend again on how hardcore your drill sergeant is, what platoon you're in. Like for me, I was part of a high-speed platoon. We were honor platoon because we tended to get everything right on the first go, and we did our PT, like we were stellar PT and everything, and we still didn't get any phone privileges. So like I said, this is up in the wind, guys. It depends on where you're at, who's your drill sergeant, and what phase of training you're in. I guess my advice is don't expect to be able to call home whenever you feel like. That's not going to happen. Your phone calls are going to be few and far between. Alright, next question. My soldier took his cell phone into basic training. Will he be able to use it? Like, I already answered this. No, you're not going to be able to use it. You won't see it until after you graduate. I don't know what the story is in AIT. I'm sure it's a lot more lax. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of time off. So yeah, during that time, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to call home whenever. Or at least they're going to be very lax with it. OSET guys, nope. Don't expect it. It's like I said, it'll be a full four months of suck. All right, my soldier attends. May my soldier attend religious services? Yes, you're gonna get time to go to church or whatever religion you're a part of. You're gonna be able to attend whatever services you need. And even if you're not religious, you're most likely going to go, and I'll tell you why. Drill sergeants won't be there during these times. I don't know if they're allowed to or not, but I do remember that they were not in the church when we were in the church. My guess is because that was our time. That was our time to, practice whatever religion we're affiliated with, without the stress of them being there, over our shoulder. So yeah, even the non-religious guys, you'll see them in there with you because they just want that time off, that reprieve, from basic training. And I use that time to catch up on some sleep. To be honest, you're gonna be sleep deprived, and any time that you get to just chill out and relax and maybe get some shut eye, it's gonna be scarce. So anytime it's available to you, you're gonna take it. And one of these, that religious time is gonna be a good time for that. Alright, can my soldier go home with his family after graduation? Yes, upon completion of the graduation ceremony, your new soldier receives a short period of leave. He is free to go home with you unless follow-on training is scheduled. This one is true to an extent. It's maybe a little disingenuous here because it all depends on where your home is, right? Because for me, for example, I was in Fort Knox, Kentucky during my basic training, and after those first 2 months, I had my parents come over and visit me because it was only 2 days off, guys. I only had a weekend off, and I live in Phoenix, Arizona. So if I would decide to go home, I would fly to Arizona, stay, maybe get like 6 hours in Arizona, and then have to fly back. So a little disingenuous here. It depends on where you live. Yes, if you live close by, you can go wherever you want. Yeah, and go home and spend time with your loved ones. But yeah, if you live far away, nope, you're gonna be staying in whatever state you're at. I mean, you're gonna be free to do whatever you want. Go eat at a restaurant, go chill out with your wife or your kids or your mom and dad. But going home, that's all geographical, That's all situation based on your. It's all based on your situation. Where will my soldier be stationed after training? This will depend upon the soldier's infantry MOS and on the needs of the Army. Soldiers without a guaranteed assignment option are advised of their duty station toward the end of OSIT. So, yeah, unless it was in your contract, guys, it's up in the wind. It's all a roll of the dice for you where they need you most. My advice is talk to your recruiter and see if you have a particular place that you want to go. Go ahead and talk to your recruiter about it and see if you can get it. I don't know what the chances are of that. For me, if I can remember that far back, I didn't really care. So I don't know how accurately I can answer this one. What your chances are of getting the one duty station that you want. Like I said, talk to your recruiter, see if you even have an option or a choice, and see if you can get it in your contract. I know there's some really good stations out there, depending on your MOS. I know for 19 Cav Scouts, there's a unit out there in Hawaii that you can get into if you're quote-unquote lucky enough. I don't know if it's lucky. I heard that the 19 Delta over there in Hawaii, they're pretty hardcore, pretty not very lax. So I don't know how enjoyable that place would be. But yeah, just to say it again, go to your recruiter, ask them about it, try to get that. If that's a big thing for you, go ahead and ask them if you can get a specific place in your contract. And yeah, that seems to be the last question here. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'll probably making 1 or 2 more of these videos. There's some questions here that I didn't see that perhaps I would have had when I first joined the military. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave it in the comments section, and I'll see if I can get back to you or make a whole different video about it, specific questions, because there are questions out there that I could spend some serious time on. So go ahead and ask them, and I'll try getting back to you. And so yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and then I'll see you next time.